Happy Friday to each and every one of you that watch my videos, all 5 of you. All right. Hey, so I'm getting ready to start a series on each week at Marine Corps recruit training. And as I'm going through my notes and I'm preparing myself, I got a message from a father who I don't want to say I helped, but maybe assisted in some tips on this young man becoming a Marine. So this video is for Gage wherever you're at in the cycle. Hopefully your MOS school, wherever you're at. I hope you're doing great. Keep your head up. Keep with the intensity. And I wish you the best of luck wherever you get stationed. So, inspired by Gage is my personal top 6 what not to do after Marine Corps Bootcamp. Okay, you graduate Marine Corps Bootcamp. Now what? Right? You're not rich. You ain't got a lot. So what's the top 6 don't do's after Marine Corps Bootcamp? Here we go. On your 10 days of boot leave, so for a young man or woman who graduates Marine Corps Bootcamp, they get 10 days of vacation time. We call it boot leave because you just got a boot camp, you're a boot leave, right? And I try to keep this as blunt and straight and to the point, even though my videos kind of get on a soapbox sometimes. But here's top 6 what not to do after recruit training. While you're on your 10 days of boot leave, you don't have a lot of money that you just made from boot camp. Don't blow all your money, right? You didn't just sign a NFL contract. You just got out of Marine Corps Bootcamp. So, yes, do you have money in your account now? Abso-freaking-lutely. Don't spend all your money, okay? You don't want to blow it. And I'll give you an example. I remember being stationed at Camp Lejeune, and I'd be out in town as a senior. I was a staff sergeant, a senior staff NCO, out and about, and you can always tell who's the boot, right? Who are fresh out of recruit training, who's blowing all their money on the hotels, who, you know, the Triangle Motor Inn or whatever in Jacksonville. If you know it, comment below. But they would have fresh shirts, fly jeans, you know, the fresh jeans, their MCMAT belt, Marine Corps Martial Art belts, right? Rigger's belt, and some brand new Jordans. But then they got their camouflage backpack. You know, this is every single year. You always could spot a brand new Marine. A brand new Marine that graduated boot camp, we call them boots. They're brand new, they're fresh, right? So don't, while you're on your boot leave, don't go blow all your money that you really don't have a lot of, okay? Don't go home and get comfortable and get fat, right? You don't want to go home and reverse everything you just did. You need to go home and maintain your standard. Remember that word, standard, because I'm going to say it a few times. But you don't want to go home and eat like a pig and get out of shape. You got this thing coming up, whether if you're infantry, it's School of Infantry, SOI, or Marine Corps Combat Training, right? If you're a non-grunt or non-infantry, those 2 jobs, those 2 schools, I should say, not jobs, those 2 things can sometimes be more physically more demanding than recruit training. And what you don't want to do is, while you're on your 10 days of boot leave, is consume all this candy and donuts and this trash that's not good for you, and you start to gain weight. What you should do is maintain standard and still get up every day, still go and do a hike, still go do a run, still work out, right? Still maintaining your physical training while you're on your own, right? And that's where a lot of people struggle, is doing these things on their own whenever they're nobody's watching them, right? It's to have the discipline to maintain your standard. Now you're on your own. It's the first time you've ever been tested outside of recruit training. Maintain your physical fitness standard. All right, you need to prepare yourself for the physical rigors of either School of Infantry or Marine Corps combat training. Okay, either one. Don't go get fat and nasty. That's, being blunt. As I'm sitting here as a retired Marine on my lunch break, about to eat SpaghettiOs out the damn can. But if you're retired, that's one thing. If you're a boot, you need to be preparing yourself and setting that mental and physical foundation for what lies ahead. All right, so don't forget to get your uniforms out of the uniform bag. Make sure you put a hot iron on them, or just find a budget-friendly dry cleaners, because you're going to need a uniform to check into one of your schools, right? You're going to need your uniforms prepared to put in for inspection, if they still do that, okay? Find a budget-friendly dry cleaner that can put a hot iron on your uniforms, right? That's that maintaining your standard. You don't want to show up looking disgusting, right? You don't want to have your physical appearance being top notch, but then your uniform looks all wrinkled. And that's the first way to start off at this schoolhouse in a bad way, right? Okay. Don't be clowning on me. But if you've ever ate these, I'll tell you where this came from. MREs, after so many times of eating them, they suck. So I used to take canned SpaghettiOs, or tuna in a can to the field, and I just got so used to it that now every so often I always grab a can and eat it for lunch, especially when I'm in a hurry or I'm not in an area that I can heat up, a meal or something. All right. So don't forget your uniforms. It's very important that you not only take care of yourself physically while you're on boot leave, take care of those uniforms. Don't get freaking married. Okay, if you're not already married, don't get married. You're going to want to get married. It's the most romantic thing young Marines do. They put their dress blues on, they propose, they go right over to the courthouse and they get married. Here's the reason why I say that. Nothing against getting married. But as a young Marine, you got to go through your combat training or your SOI. Then you go to your MOS training, and then you're going to get orders, and you have no idea where those orders are. It could be unaccompanied orders to Okinawa, Japan, and if you're married, now you're freshly married, and you got to leave the spouse behind, okay? Don't freaking get married, all right? It sucks that people say that. Your training and this foundation you're building as a new Marine is going to help you when you do get married later on. You're going to have more. Right now you're in limbo. I got to get through school. I got to get through this pipeline of training before I know where I'm going. All right. I know it sounds harsh if you're watching this and you're a young Marine. Don't freaking get married. It doesn't make sense, right? Financially, you're not balling out, right? You cannot support, another person. Take care of you first, and then, if you so choose, wait until after you're settled at your duty station. And then you should probably go through counseling. Don't go buy a damn car. If you get orders overseas and you're a young Marine, you're not taking the car with you. You just bought a car you're paying on, and you can't even drive it. Okay, it's going to have to be parked at mom and dad's. It's going to have to be stored, something like that. Don't buy a damn car. They see boots coming from a mile away at every dealership. And then when you finally get stationed, if it's in the States or somewhere where you could purchase a vehicle, don't buy a vehicle near the Marine Corps base or Air Force base or a military installation, right? You want to look for the deals, go a little further out, right? They're waiting for you to come buy a car so you could pay 25% interest on a 1999 Mustang that you can't afford right now. So don't buy a car. A lot of people, young Marines especially, they don't like being told these things, but we only say these things because we learn from our past. We learn from what Marines have done in the past, what we've personally done in the past, right? Some of this might be hypocritical, but these are lessons learned from a Marine that's already been through that path, okay? Don't be getting butthurt watching this video. While you're on your 10 days, yes, you feel like Superman. You can conquer the world with other Marines. This does not mean go out there and be a hero. This doesn't mean go out to the bars, have drinks, somebody calls you, a bad name, and you're ready with the piss and vinegar running through your veins to throw them through a wall. Don't get arrested, okay? You need to make sure that everything you're doing while you're on boot leave is the way that you should do and maintain these standards. You are a Marine. In the paper, if you get in trouble, it just says United States Marine, fought or killed or crashed or DUI. It doesn't have your name. You're representing an entire organization as a United States Marine. Think of us first before you do something stupid. Don't get anybody pregnant. Don't get anyone pregnant. While you're on boot leave, you're going to be full of piss and vinegar, and you don't want to fight and all that, but you definitely don't, use all your safety precautions, all the resources. Don't get a girl pregnant or a guy. Don't let the guy get you pregnant if you're a female Marine. Congratulations, you made it through recruit training, but this is just the beginning. And the bottom line is, don't forget that you're a Marine first. Maintain your standard. Be selfish when it comes to taking care of your personal things. And you're not rich. I don't care if you've never had money before. Don't go out and blow your money. So those are my top 6 tips on what not to do after Marine Corps Bootcamp. These are my opinions. I'm sure they align with some others. But until the next time, and like I said, it's a series coming up on each week what recruit training is like. And if you just recently went through Marine Corps Bootcamp and you want to send me some comments, send me an email, whatever it is, I want to hear from you. Until then, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next video.